think he'll do well. He seems to care, and he's a very friendly person. You know, he seems to be a very friendly person. So I think he'll do great.
He's an innovator. He calls it like he sees it, and he's not afraid to do what is necessary to get things done. With everybody feeling just very frustrated with how Karen has ran the city for the last 4 years, it's time for a change, and the change is Spencer.
So there's a block party for the LA mayoral race, and Spencer Pratt's getting a little of attention from some undecided voters, from some Spencer Pratt voters that showed up. And they're not saying bad things about Spencer Pratt. I guess they're not in the lamestream media that likes to hate on him right now. It's kind of if you got Trump fatigue of making fun of him, you could throw a little bit of that by way of Spencer Pratt. And I can't unsee that what is now a gif of Spencer Pratt at that podium, at that debate where he's just giving this, I can't even explain the face that he's making, but it's like it's a duh face. That's what we would have said back in the day. Let's get to our guest. Joe DeVito joins us once again, writer, comedian, and of course you see him as a regular panelist on Gutfeld. Joe DeVito, welcome back. Good to have you with us.
Hey, good to see you, Annie.
So Spencer Pratt, I am infatuated with the idea of Spencer Pratt, mayor of LA, and Zohran Mamdani, mayor of New York City. What did I copy?
Yeah, well, Mamdani, you know, the arrogance of him. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, he just posted a photo of himself next to a photo of FDR to show that he has the microphones in front of himself, and comparing himself to FDR. So if I lived in New York and I was a Japanese person, I would start getting very nervous.
Okay.
Because it may be an internment camp coming up. But by the way, did you know that FDR put Italian Americans in internment camps during World War II?
Really?
Yeah, no one talks about that.
No.
And I heard from what I've heard, conditions were described as worse than the Olive Garden.
The Olive Garden. You know, when I think of first of all, I love the Olive Garden. An Olive Garden breadstick. Let's talk about how good an Olive Garden breadstick is. But remember when Anderson Cooper, what was it? Was that after January 6th or something like that? Didn't Anderson Cooper come out and say that after everybody was done protesting, they were all going to go out to eat at Olive Garden and stay at their Hampton Inns or something like that? Like, talk about an elitist, bratty thing for him to say.
Absolutely. And I could see if you wanted to talk about white people activities, going to the Olive Garden, certainly not something Italian Americans would do.
That's true. I'm not Italian, so I love it.
So about our mayor in New York, he is he's not really a mayor. He's an actor playing the role of a mayor.
That tracks.
Yeah, so that's why he can go up and promise crazy things, because he can just say, well, the writers will sort it out in season 2. He can go up, say, yeah, free groceries, free buses, sure. Why not? He's not going to be held accountable for it. Why not free healthcare, free tickets to Hamilton? Let's go for it. He's not going to have to worry about it. So yeah, promise everything. Because to me, that sums up the left right there, is that they're so delusional. They've severed consequences from action so much that they support these stupid policies. And when you try to explain to them, yeah, that's never going to work, that's why they have to kill you. Because you just made them feel very stupid by pointing out that these things are never going to be able to happen.
You know, Zohran Mamdani ran as a Democratic Socialist. I don't know that this is some Trojan horse in New York City. I think that, you know, I live in Illinois, and people always say that we have the government we voted for. Okay, yes, we take our penance, and we try to just not talk about it too much. Is there any sort of buyer's remorse in New York City, or they got what they voted for?
You know, I was. And like, as I told you before, I'm a suburban guy, so I dip into New York City and then I get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was already a bunch of people downtown in the East Village, I believe, who voted for him overwhelmingly, and now they're upset that there's going to be some gigantic center being put in there for housing drug addicts and all that stuff. And they're saying, well, not in our neighborhood. It's like, well, what neighborhood did you think they were going to put them in? This is what you voted for. So it's unfortunate, but you know what? People say, will they ever express remorse? And I don't think they ever will. They'll try and find a way to blame it on somebody else because they're so invested in, I am never wrong. It's so important to them that they're smarter than everybody else that they'll never admit it. And that's the big problem. They'll never admit that they're wrong, and you can't convince them I mean, I don't know when you hear socialism and communism and all these things. I don't know how many bodies have to be stacked up in history for something that, even with the mass killing, still didn't work. But they'll never admit it.
Yeah, they'd have to pay attention to history. You mentioned free tickets to Hamilton. I almost feel like that would be maybe some American history that some of these people would potentially learn that they didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you got, it's very interesting what's going on in LA, because even if he doesn't win, he's done such a good job of exposing that, again, the behaviors that lead to these terrible outcomes. You have them, Karen Bass was talking about, dental care for meth heads. I mean, it's just like, how many more? It's hard to even parody them.
Yeah.
But they don't like it. And Pratt came in and talked about very real things. That my house was burned down. The streets are covered with poop and syringes. And, in Hollywood, they hear that and they say, well, boring. Good luck getting a movie made of that.
Yeah, I think that the plain speak for Spencer Pratt, I mean, it sells well in the Midwest. I think people here are hearing that and going, yeah, because that's really the drug, the needles and the poop. I mean, do you remember when Ron DeSantis held up the poop map in his argument against, the famous poop map will be in the Smithsonian one day when maybe DeSantis is president, I don't know. But when you hear Spencer Pratt talk about these super basic things, if you're going into a restaurant and someone's taking a dump outside of the restaurant, I would imagine, do the super nice restaurants, do they have a way to take care of it? It's like Gavin Newsom when you invite the Chinese president where you clean up 4 blocks and make it nice and neat and tidy for those people. Is there such an elitist class in California, in LA, or maybe even New York where the hyper super rich elite don't have to deal with drug needles laying out and about for people to step on or poop?
Well, maybe what they could do with the poop is they could come out and put one of those old school, the little metal domes that had the handle on top that you knew you were getting like a classy meal. They'll just come and put those. Yeah.
You get those.
Tell you what, let's make everyone happy and put little tiny American flags sticking out of them. Then left and right will both say,
that's a bipartisan poop fix right there. He should do that. He should put fine dining metal domes over them and just put like Karen Bass for mayor stickers. Be like cleaning up the problem, one fine dining establishment at a time.
That's a great idea. That would replace the I did this Biden stickers.
Yes.
They just put, vote for Karen Bass sticking out of a nice number 2. And she could say she's number 2 because she tries harder.
Oh, man. Joe DeVito speaking with us right now. You see him on Gutfeld, of course, writer and comedian. Every time I have somebody like you on Joe DeVito, how do you like that phrase? Someone like you. I always think to myself, this is really good content because it's right on the edge. You ever say anything when you're on these interviews or on Gutfeld that, are people still trying to cancel you? Does that environment still happen?
Well, no, I'm in the category of uncanceled, not because I'm wealthy like Joe Rogan, but mostly because my career is at such a low level that it really is. It's harder to find me than it is to cancel me. But
it's not worth the effort.
Yeah. But I did actually last week, I made it often comment. I compared Democrat policies to bath fitters. You know what bath fitters is, right? Have you ever seen the commercials? Bath fitters is, bath fitters. It's like if you have they can come in and instead of doing a full remodel, they clamp a new bathtub over your old one so that you don't have to deal with the fact that you're gross and poor and that you don't really have that. So I said that Democrat policies are like bath fitters, and I compared it to transgender surgery. And I said, you may change the way it looks, but the plumbing is still the same.
Okay.
That's my comment.
Did you get in trouble?
Well, the CEO of Bath Fitters watches the show.
Ooh, do they still?
Well, he reached out and he said to change my mind, he was willing to offer they would come in and redo my bath. Did
you take him up on that?
Well, here's the thing. Much credit to him for putting his money where his mouth is. But here's the thing. I rent. I'm not upgrading anything. And it's like, I don't care. The only thing I thought was, well, then maybe I don't have to clean if they'll just clamp something on top. But look, as a point of principle, that's like taking a rental car to get detailed. Just on principle, I wouldn't do it. I will wash myself in the toilet before I upgrade a single thing in this apartment. So, but it made me realize I need to, if I could get free stuff, I'm changing my complaints.
I was going to say, you've got a whole new world ahead of you. Just insult all of the people who are advertising on Fox News.
Oh, yeah. And if it works that well, I want to go on record that I will not make out with Margot Robbie under any circumstances. And I want that to get circulated.
Brad, make this a YouTube short right away. We'll promote it out there for the masses. Do you find, is there any shot whatsoever that Spencer Pratt could win the mayorship in LA?
Probably not, because again, you have that sort of delusion going on out there. When we talk about building the walls, I really felt like it should have run down from like Reno down to Arizona to close off California from the rest of the country. Because the problem is they know they don't like the results of these things. But again, they've severed that connection between this is what you vote for and this is what you get. And we always joke about the U-Haul rentals, which is a true thing, that to get a U-Haul rental leaving California is very expensive. It's cheap to get one going back because no one wants to move from Austin.
You're doing them a favor.
Yeah, the problem is they bring their awful voting habits with them. So, in a way, I'm bummed out that if you look at the mass exodus from New York over the past couple of years, it stinks because not only do they bring those terrible ideas to Florida and South Carolina and so forth, but we're conceding entire states to this unnecessary destruction. So, I don't know. I don't know how bad things have to get. I mean, I know we joke about poop in the streets, but really, what's the other example you need before you say, maybe that's needs a change?
100%. When I'm watching Spencer Pratt and I'm waiting for him to make some sort of, like, let's be real, for people who aren't steeped in the news, boring point about policy in city government, I'm just like, talk about all the places where the poop is. That's all as a mother that I would need to know that I can't take my child out because I'm going to come in contact with somebody's poop in like everyday life or needles. Like, these are the most basic things that government should prevent from happening in your public spaces. Start there, end there. That could be also, and maybe act like you care when people's houses burn down. Yes.
But as far as the poop goes, they made an app. They made an app to help you track these things.
Oh,
so there was enough. There was enough that it required an app. Again, he brings up very realistic things that while on that debate stage, they're just saying lies. I mean, you look at the governor debate out of California or their Senate debates, like Katie Porter. She's lying. There's no way I believe that she actually threw mashed potatoes at somebody, that she would part with mashed potatoes. I don't care how much Ozempic she's on. Okay. She's not hefting around starches. I don't buy it. But they're talking about these ridiculous things, and he's going up there saying, "Hey, you let my house burn down, and you won't let me fix it." Mm-hmm. And then when he's on TMZ, they're saying, "But didn't you stay in a hotel?" He's like, "My house burned down. I had nowhere else to go." And they're like, but you got fresh towels in the hotel. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Before we let you go, we're speaking with Joe DeVito, a regular panelist and writer, comedian with Fox News' Gutfeld. Everybody's watching it. The number one late night comedy show that people are tuning into. I will join you in pouring one out for your counterpart, Stephen Colbert, over there. It's just got to hang it up now. I asked this question of Joe Concha, who was on the show yesterday, and I'm going to ask you the same one. Did Stephen Colbert get canceled or did he fail?
Oh, he failed. He forgot to be funny.
Oh, yeah.
On a late night show. And, even if you're someone who hates the Gutfeld show, even if you think you still have to acknowledge we're trying to tell jokes. You may not like the jokes, but you have to acknowledge that we did what we thought was funny and other people would find funny. Meanwhile, on Colbert, it's like coming up an hour with Elizabeth Warren, who is like, even Johnny Carson. She was on Colbert show 18 times in 10 years. Johnny Carson only had Dom DeLuise on 20 times the whole time he was on the air. So what's Elizabeth Warren? What's the entertainment? She didn't even do the old tomahawk throwing bit. It was a waste of time. So. Yeah, and
why are you even here?
Yeah, exactly. So, when he did the dancing syringes, to me that was the ultimate in. You're saying this guy's entertaining and he's speaking truth to power. And what is the opposite of speaking truth to power? It's saying to people, "We're going to pressure you into getting a government vaccination." he just stopped being funny, and it's a shame because he was a talented guy. So
yeah,
good luck.
The sharks were jumping the sharks at that point in that show.
Oh,
any shot
terrible.
that he goes and kind of does a Gutfeld thing on one of the maybe lesser watched news stations. Maybe there's a counterpart. Stephen Colbert goes, and I don't know how he could cannonball any more into the leftist air quotes comedy show, but goes on MS Now and tries to counter program you guys with a emboldened political comedy flair.
I hadn't thought about that, probably because it is such a bad idea. In terms of generating,
you're like, I hope he does. That would be great.
I mean, it would be interesting. I think what he's going to do is he's going to have one of these podcasts that no one watches, where they all get together and rub each other's shoulders. Like, look what happened with Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart got he had some show on, I don't know, Apple Minus. I don't know what it was called. Nobody watched it.
Yeah.
And then he had to come back to The Daily Show. They go to these vanity projects where they sit around and they become even more self-congratulatory than they were on the networks. It's I don't know what the next step is for someone like that. He had a powerful franchise that he drove it into the ground. I mean, that was a 30-year franchise, and now it's not just that he is off the air. The show is off the air. Late night TV is dying because of people like him.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see the counter programming. Well, whatever they put in place for him. If all of a sudden they see an uptick in viewership, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see if Kimmel feels emboldened to go even harder on the super hateful type of leftist stuff, non-funny stuff that he's doing. If people are going to have more options of what to watch, Gutfeld, of course, is winning the game every night. But there's a group of people who are not going to have a home anymore at that point. Not a huge group, but a group of people. What if they find themselves being entertained elsewhere in something that doesn't have to be a political misery loves company fest?
Well, I can't tell you what Kimmel's response is going to be, but I can tell you this: he will be crying. he will be crying. He may switch to his show may just be him cutting onions for the full segment. But so the Colbert Show actually has a replacement. It's going to be Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen. Full disclosure, a show that I have appeared on, and it gets a bad rap because it's a silly show, as it should be. Silly. It's comics sitting around doing their material. It's funny. And Byron Allen has come out and said, we don't like to do political material. We don't do things for the purposes of offending people. And it's smart. People just want to be entertained. And I have to say, it's the number one comment I hear when people come to see me and who have heard me on your show. They see me on Gutfeld. They've watched my, clips I have online. The number one thing they say is, we're so glad you didn't talk about politics.
Yeah.
So liberal comedians attract a liberal audience who wants to hear liberal material. And the kind of comedian I am and the kind of comedians you see on Gutfeld, people just want to come out and laugh. And that's what killed Colbert's show. He forgot to be funny.
Yeah. And that ship has sailed. I do that replacement show where they are doing comedy for the sake of laughter and joy. I think it's just, I'm really interested to see how it affects the Kimmel people. So we'll see. But we know Gutfeld is still winning the day, and you are a frequent guest on there. We love seeing you there, and we're so grateful that we got to spend some time here with you, Joe DeVito, this afternoon. Thank you for hanging out with us.
And I'll be back in St. Louis in August 13th through 15th at the Funny Bone, so I will see you then.
You got to come in studio with us when you're here. We'll have you back. Yeah. All right. Take care, Joe.
Sounds
Talk to you again
Thanks,
soon.
Annie.
Bye-bye. We'll see you on the Gutfeld Show. Regular panelist there, Joe DeVito, on X at Joe DeVito Comedy.